speaking of significant assets, Daniel Snyder, more assets out of his pocket, because this report broke today. And here's what happened. There's a league meeting next week, and in advance of the league meeting, information gets sent out to the teams. And in the information sent to the teams, one of the things on the agenda is to vote on Daniel Snyder purchasing the minority interest in his franchise from the three gentlemen who have been trying for more than a year to sell more than 40% of the team. Fred Smith, the chairman and founder of FedEx, Robert Rothman, and Dwight Scharr. And what was going on, and I don't want to get too deep into the weeds because most people don't care about this, but the three individuals found a buyer for their interests, and Snyder has a right of first refusal. But he didn't want to exercise it as to all three of them, just to two of them. And it came down to the fact he didn't have the money to do it, and he couldn't borrow the money because the NFL has a limit on how much you can borrow. Well, the NFL waved the magic wand. You know, there's nothing like having a rule that you're going to make an exception for to the point where the rule doesn't matter. They waved the magic wand. They let him exceed the debt limit, and now he can borrow enough money to buy them out. That's what he's doing at roughly $950 million for more than 40% of the team. That's a valuation of just under $2.4 billion. But remember, minority shares aren't worth as much as the majority ownership because you don't have voting rights, you don't have a path to control of the team. But still, a significant transaction, almost $1 billion that Daniel Snyder has to come up with to get these guys out of his hair for good and consolidate, Shireen, 100% of the team.
Well, and Fred Smith, by the way, is an Atlanta Falcons fan now. That's where his son now is the head coach. So move on, Fred. Take your money and go root for your Falcons. But, you know, Mike, I like the way this franchise is going. And I know they're under investigation. I understand all that. But I like the hires that they've made since the investigation started. Ron Rivera is obviously the face and the voice of this team. Martin Mayhew as GM. I go way back with Martin Mayhew to when he played for the Buccaneers. I love Martin Mayhew. Jason Wright, president, he's shown me a lot of positive things. Julie Donaldson is senior VP of media. So I like some of the hires he's made. If you can keep Dan Snyder out of this team and let Ron Rivera and Jason Wright and Martin Mayhew and Julie Donaldson continue to do what they're doing now, I think this team has a bright, bright future, Mike.
There is also an implicit conclusion that can be drawn from the fact that the NFL has allowed Daniel Snyder to exceed the league's per-team debt limit and borrow the money necessary to pay for 40% of the team and own all of it. And that is that it's highly unlikely the end result of the ongoing investigation into workplace misconduct will result in the league requiring Daniel Snyder to sell the team. Remember, a few weeks ago, 106.7 The Fan in D.C. reported that Beth Wilkinson, the lawyer that initially was hired by the team before the league took over the investigation, had recommended, it turns out she hasn't recommended it yet, someone got their hands on a draft report where she was recommending that there be a forced sale of the team. I don't believe that's going to happen. I believe that there will be a significant fine imposed on Daniel Snyder. I think we'll find out that the three minority owners were fined and money was collected from them as part of their exit package of the $950 million that they'll be getting because they took Snyder to court instead of handled everything quietly through the internal arbitration procedures, and the league owners don't like it when the dirty laundry gets aired. But the big takeaway for me is that Snyder will not be forced to sell the team. We won't have another Jerry Richardson situation where Jeff Bezos or someone else is going to show up and buy the franchise from Daniel Snyder, who's squeezed by the power structure in the league to move on as the discipline for this problem, however extensive it was, however long it lasted. I hope we're going to have transparency. I hope we'll be able to judge whether or not whatever the punishment is fits whatever the crimes are. I hope it doesn't get brushed under the rug. But whatever the end result is, it looks like the NFL is not going to force him to walk away, Shereen.
Yeah, that's what this seems to be an indication of, Mike. And you know, I hope they solve the problem that they have and they make, you know, whatever suggestions are made, or maybe they won't even be suggestions. Maybe they'll be forced to make changes. But whatever those changes are, they certainly need to make them based on what we've read and heard that's come out of this already. But I'm with you. I hope there's some transparency and we can see exactly if the punishment fits that crime, Mike.
And it's my understanding that Snyder is intent on keeping the team because he wants his children eventually to inherit it and run it, and that's why he wants to hang on to it. This is a team he's had for 22 years now, bought it in 1999 for $750 million, and now buying 40% of the interest in the team for $950 million. It shows you how the value of these franchises continues to go up and up.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.